So Sonya was so for the close of the show, Sonya was in the ring with Charlotte, and Sonya informed her that she spoke to Becky before they went on air, and was informed by her that Ronda has planned to choose her for a match at WrestleMania. She then offered Charlotte the floor and said if she defeats Naomi next week, she could choose her opponent at WrestleMania. And Charlotte grabbed the mic and said she understood why Ronda would take Becky, because mom versus mom was the easier path. That was actually a pretty good line. She then said she would choose her own opponent and called out Sasha, who wasn't at the show. She said WrestleMania would be the best and worst day of her life and said she'd have a contract waiting for her. So Ronda walked out and said it was a game of she said, and everybody lied talking about her. Ronda said she didn't fly across the country in an ice storm to have a chat. She came to show her the family tradition of kicking ass, and she was just one of many she owed an ass beating to. She soaked in the crowd reaction and told Charlotte that she was not special. She was just first, and she would see her at WrestleMania. Charlotte dangled the SmackDown Women's Championship in front of Ronda and said the opportunity would be back in the main event of WrestleMania. She called the title her baby and said it was prettier than Ronda's. Things started to get physical, but Sonya intervened. She told Ronda that she calls the shots and not her, and Charlotte tried a big boot in a surprise attack, but Ronda avoided it. Then Sonya jumped on Ronda's back. Charlotte escaped, and then Ronda then implied an armbar on Sonya, and she tapped out, and then Ronda stared down Charlotte to end the show. That, to me, was a very weird out.
It was very awkward. And not only that, I like how if Naomi touches her, she gets suspended, but not Ronda.
Well, my whole thing in this is like, why did they give Naomi's spot to Ronda?
Right.
Naomi, it's like right. Ronda just took that's the spot that we've been building for Naomi to get. The big, like, she makes her tap out and makes her scream in pain. You know, that's what I thought. You know, but they did with Ronda. It's like there's no way.
Let me
Sonya
tell you,
would attack Ronda like that either. That was a big leap of.
This was very awkward. It was to me. I didn't like this show at all. First time I don't like what Paulie did. The only thing I like was the confrontation between Goldberg and Roman because that was different. I like Sami Zayn because he's always great. The Garza's match was good, and then the confrontation. I don't like Charlotte. I don't like what's her name, Rousey, and I'll tell you why. Because she comes off as contrived, like she's trying to be a badass, but she really doesn't know how to be one. And I read this, and I had never read this before. She was going off on the fans and saying they're a bunch of idiots and she hated them and that they didn't appreciate her. Appreciate what? You're not a good wrestler. You're not a good promo. You're not a good superstar. You just happen to be somebody that had a lot of credibility in UFC, and you came in here and you acted like a mark, and the fans aren't stupid. And the same way they booed Cena and the same way they booed Roman, they're going to boo you if they don't like your and she fans don't appreciate me. Them. That's why Braun Strowman left. Nah, because you don't know what the you're doing.
That's a good little rant. I'm going to side with Ronda. I hate the fans too.
Yeah.
I don't like the fans. I will say this. Here's a comment on the fans. Is that bro? You know, like these days is like it's funny how you look at this fan base and stuff, everything, right? And wrestling does decent numbers in the demo on cable television. But for some reason, the advertisers just do not respect the wrestling fan. Because like the sports, like TV programs that are actually getting worse numbers than wrestling, they get higher ad rates than the wrestling shows do. And there was a story back in the day, I'll never forget, like if you can go look, I think it's a 1998 article. There's 2005. If you search on Google, because I did this one time, right? Bro, during the Attitude Era, advertising went through the roof for professional wrestling. Like they were drawing like major advertisers. And then it got edgy, and then like as the ratings went down, they kind of like regressed back into like, we don't like the type of fans they have today. Smart marks. And like smart marks are not like if you collectively look at them in the crowd and watch the way they act on the internet and see the type of, like trolls they are and everything, bro, that's not the type of crowd that advertisers really want to like invest in. And like that's happening today. It's kind of weird. It's like, I think a lot of people ignore that, when they talk about they report these demos and stuff, everything. I just don't, the wrestling audience right now is not a hot topic. Because wrestling's not a hot topic.
But it's funny. There's more wrestling than ever before, though. That's
but it
Yeah,
is.
I'm not saying it's more popular. I'm just saying it's more ubiquitous than it was. You know, it's everywhere.
Per example, what would visually look better? Okay, like say you go into Disney World, okay, and there's a concert, okay, and like they have a section of Disney World, right? And you show like there's 10,000 people, and they're all at that concert, they're all congregating to show. It's like, wow, that's a big crowd, right? Okay, now let's say we're still in Disney World. Now let's take a visual picture. Okay, there's no concert, and you're just looking at a big, wide, vast place with a bunch of people spread out all over the place. But it's still 10 to 15,000 people. But the visual pictures is very sparse, very. That's what I look at when I think about wrestling content today. That because there's so much, it's all over the
yeah,
place.
it's oversaturated.
Right,
But here's
exactly.
the thing: wrestling is no different than TV programming. It's very niche. For example, there's a show, some 600 pounds. I don't watch it, but it's popular. There's another show,
My 600-pound life, I think it's
right,
called, right?
Hoarders, like where like are buying,
yeah,
right, and it's a popular show. It's not
yeah,
Survivor popular, but it's it's been renewed. You know, Cody Rhodes had his show renewed. Whatever
right.
Rhodes,
Rousey.
whatever. Yeah, Miz and Maurice, they had their reviewed, and so everything's very niche now. You don't
Yeah.
have to have a huge audience to make money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's what we're learning.